Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 389. You shouldn't protest unless. And so, where am I going with this? Unless you do what? So, does everybody know where the word culture comes from? Culture, our culture is obviously breaking down, and there's protests all over the nation. The word culture comes from cultivate, and so it's actually an old farming term, essentially. That to create culture, you actually have to sow seeds and take care of them and make them good and give them an environment where they can grow. That's where the word culture comes from, and you grow your culture through your families and through your children. And so, farmers grow their culture through their crops, and that's where it comes from, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. But so how do you grow good families? You have man, woman, child, or child, woman, man, right? Opposite way around. The child is the center of the culture, and Christianity has always traditionally put the child first, and the mother and the father, their job is entirely to die for that child, take care of it, and form them into something that will last and persevere over time, much like the crops in a farmer's field. And that's enculturating things. And so when you look at, by the way, you look at like an opera, ball gowns, people knowing how to dance, and you say, oh, that's culture. Or you look at a preschool room, bunch of kids, snotty, pooping in their diapers, screaming at each other, poking each other in the eyes. And that's actually the culture. The culture is actually the little ones. The culture is not the old ones. The old ones who are sitting there celebrating how dignified they can be, they'll be dead soon. Don't worry about them. But the little ones, the ones that are going to actually grow up and raise children, that's where the culture forms, and that's where the culture comes from. As you can hear in the background here, I have culture in my downstairs. But nonetheless, you shouldn't be protesting unless, of course, you have mastered culture. And so here's the deal, right? So how do you master culture? And St. Mother Teresa said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Take care of your family. That's the only way to change the world. And so if you haven't mastered the aspects of marriage and family life, you should not be protesting because you have not contributed to the culture in any meaningful way as of yet. And so, and I'll tell you this: if you love a woman like you've every day of your life, and you respect her, and you raise children, and you stay with her forever, you've mastered family and culture. If you love a man, women, and you take care of him, and you live a sacramental life with him, and you raise children with him, and you push them out into the world, and you form those children, and the children go into this world, and they become a beacon of light for the world, you've added to the culture. And it's my suggestion that you should never ever protest. You should never ever go into the world and poke a finger in the face of the world, screaming and yelling about how unjust the world is, until you've actually mastered culture in your own life, meaning mastering the family. And so, and the funny part about this is the people that scream the loudest and yell the loudest tend to be the far leftists, right? That's the way it works. That's where the Marxism comes from. And Marxism is the opposite of family. Marxism wants the breakdown of family, and the church, and Roman Catholicism in particular, actually wants the formation of family. So these are two forces going against each other. Marxism, anti-family, contraception, abortion, no-fault divorce, you name it. Roman Catholicism, submission to spouse, raising children, and dying for the good of each other. That's family. And so these people that tend to be screaming and yelling the loudest tend to be the ones that failed at family. And so that should spark a little thought in your mind that perhaps those who can't submit, those who will push their will against everybody else, will fail at enculturating the society or raising families. And those, by the way, who are able to submit and die for the good of others are not the ones that are going to be out in the streets protesting and yelling and screaming. And so that's kind of ironic, by the way. So how many people in the streets of Portland or Seattle or whatever it is do you think are out there have successful family lives? They're married, they have good children, they work really hard, and they show up to each other at the end of the day. I would probably say less than 1% of them. And so it is my suggestion as Catholic Dad that if you have failed at the basic requirements of marriage and family life, you really need to go work on yourself before you work on the rest of society. You really should be. Because You will change the world by raising good children and good families and submitting to your spouse, dying to your spouse. And those who have raised really good children, raised families, and have died to their spouses, they feel no need to protest the society or yell and scream. And so this is just something to think about, by the way. So if you, you're a young person, you're watching this video and you say, oh, there's so much injustice in the world. Oh, I'm going to go change the world. Like, you're young. You don't know anything yet. Okay, you literally haven't raised a family. You haven't died to yourself in the raising of children. You haven't died to yourself in forming a family and dying to your spouse. You just haven't done that. You haven't learned to deny yourself comfort. You haven't learned to deny yourself like your basic fallen nature, right? You have to deny yourself your fallen nature. You have to embrace your nature, your God-given nature, and learn how to submit, pick your suffering up, move into this world for the good of the future generations or the culture. And you know, by the way, it's funny because our culture's broken. Everybody knows it. If we had literally, I would say probably 20% of the nation actually embraced family, like really embraced family, the culture wouldn't be broken anymore. I honestly believe literally it would take 20% of people really embracing family. But if you had 80% of people that really embrace family, this culture would be so alive and well, it would be ridiculous. And so that's a challenge to you people out there that are like looking to protest and like burn buildings down or like get Donald Trump out of office or change the world in your own image. First, you should probably learn how to die to yourself, submit to somebody else, and raise family in a beautiful way where you can actually push culture, children, cultivate children, push them out into the world where they'll make a difference in a positive way. So this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe, get the Mass, and pray the Daily Rosary. God bless you all. Take care.